I am not a scientist, even though I have a deep appreciation for science. I prefer to use commonality study when I design techniques or evaluate techniques. And what I always want to do is figure out what are the best people doing, and let's kind of copy that stuff. And then let's take science and let's figure out why what they do works. So for example, many years ago, and I'm kind of known as a jumps coach, even though I've dabbled in just about everything, I really liked the way Carl Lewis long jumped. But at the same time, I didn't want to copy Carl Lewis because I didn't have Carl Lewis. So he's got unique qualities, he's got unique talents, he's got unique structures and so forth. So I didn't want to copy Carl. But if, and I'm dating myself with these names, I understand, but if Carl Lewis and Mike Powell and Jackie Joyner and Larry Myrick were all doing something the same way, then I figured my people had better be doing those things. So that's what I like to do. I like to base things on commonalities. So, and this holds true. Many years ago, I was in my gym in high school, filming kids during pickup basketball games and watching them go up to dunk or try to dunk the ball. And I just noticed huge similarities in the way long jumpers take off and high jumpers take off and basketball players take off. And you start to understand that it's about human performance more than it is the techniques of any particular sport. So just to give you an idea of that, and we talked about the preparation earlier, I just want to show you this little quick video that I have here. If you look at this is Jeremy Hicks coming in and do a long jump. If you look right there, you can see the position of his leg just prior to impact on his second to last step. You can see the ankle's dorsiflex, which is common, and you'll see that the thigh is about at what, a 45-degree angle or so to vertical. And that's basically puts the quadricep muscle in good position to accept the impact here. Okay, so that's long jump, and most people think, oh, well, that's how you coach long jump. But again, you'll see that as we run through this video, you'll see this position happen time and time again. This is Lawrence Willis, who's been on some national teams in the triple jump. There's the same picture, and there it is again. And so, when I look at things like this, I start to say, well, when these things pop up over and over again, I start to understand that these things are basically inherent, meaning that why do these people always assume this particular position? It's because this is the position and the technique in which humans dissipate and accept impact forces the best when they're operating at high speeds. And this is why you see that. And I couldn't find one, but if you had a picture of Michael Jordan's are a bit of a problem. So I like to take my athletes and put them through the lower leg conditioning first. It's one of the first things that I tend to do in a sport where there's so much jumping involved. So I do two things for lower leg conditioning in a jump sense. I have all of these real simple, stupid little jumps, and if you've got dot drills in your training room or whatever, it's all the same thing. There's nothing magic in any of these. The only thing is I do like to have a little bit of forward hopping just so that you can get a little bit of a hit on the Achilles unit and such. And then also I do specific things. Now in a few seconds, you're going to see some simple drills, some skipping drills and some repetitive takeoff drills and things like that. And those are specific to track. Your sport that you're working with is going to have something specific that you can do as well. So like I said, these again are specific to track. Figure out what's specific to your sport. I mean, you can connect those dots yourself. But anyhow, I spend time doing this type of stuff early. So when I look at them, basically my lower leg conditioning program has two components. One, jumps, and the types of jumps that you just saw. The second component is mobility work. And the mobility work is not really my topic here today. But I'll tell you this, when I was looking for mobility stuff for feet, I looked all over the place and so found a lot of hokey stuff. So I looked at the place where I thought the feet were hammered the hardest of any sport, and I went to ballet. And if you want to know what I do for mobility for the feet, I stole it all from ballet. Kind of take those types of exercises and employ them in my workout. But we're going to talk primarily about our impact training. So what I do is I do those simple little jumps that you saw there. Typically what I'll do is I'll work it for about 30 seconds each. And I like to work 1-to-1 or 2-to-1 work to rest ratio. So in other words, if they're doing 30 seconds, I'll give them 30 seconds of rest. Sometimes maybe 15 seconds of rest depending on my purpose. The key variable here, is the surface, What I do is, for me, for every type of exercise you do, there's some key variable that you progress in a systematic manner. And strength is tension, and volumetrics is tension. But here is the surface. So what I do is I start them off doing that stuff barefoot in the sand. and then I progress them to barefoot on padded mats, and I progress them to barefoot on grass, and that's kind of how I do it over the course of time. I know that's not real complicated, but that's what I do. And scrambles again. Scrambles are sometimes I'll build in short sprints, meaning that they'll finish a set of jumps with a short sprint, just to kind of change the stresses on the foot and such, you know. But that's all I do. It's pretty simple. And the specific work I can't really address because that would kind of depend on your unique sport. And this is kind of what I do, and again, I do this early, and this is a big part of all my shin splint prevention and all that kind of stuff, along with the mobility stuff and a lot of holistic remedies like arnica and things like that that I use as well. As far as periodization of that stuff, it's very simple, you know, this kind of stuff. And sometimes I kind of mix in horizontal stuff, mix in a standing long jump, mix in a hurdle hop or something like that. I also like to, depending on the kid's sport event or whatever, I like to have them do lateral stuff, you know, move through the boxes sideways. Another variation I like is have them land and then do a half a quarter turn twist, which is very specific to throwing movements and a lot of sports as well. So you kind of get the idea here as well. I mean, this again is not earth-shattering. The purpose is, this is where I accomplish my high-end elastic strength development. You know, when I really want to produce muscle tension, when I really want to challenge and produce high-end elastic strength, this is what I do. And again, you'll notice that I, in these circuits, unlike others, like to mix horizontal and vertical components. I typically don't do that in a lot of instances. The reason why I like to mix horizontal and vertical components is because the intensity is so high. And whenever intensities are high and we're looking for a buffer against injury, what do? We go to the D word, diversity. So again, by changing trajectories and things like that, we make things a little bit safer. So these are very specific to sprinting, they're very specific to jumping, and if you do them right, they're very specific to lateral movements and changes of direction as well. As far as parameters, what I typically will do with these types of exercises, not much. Again, this is not the time when you want to get fancy. You know, anytime you really are working high on the volume end of things or high on the intensity end of things, you don't want to get overly fancy. So 3 to 5 repetitions of 5 to 6 different exercises, and I normally work around 40 contacts or so. I don't think I've ever gone over 50 contacts. Keep in mind that it's not box jumps until you surpass an athlete's vertical jump capability. You know, so if you have an athlete whose vertical jump is 24 inches and they're jumping on a 24-inch box, 24-inch vertical, 24-inch box, well, it's not a depth jump yet. I mean, they're still working within their capabilities, provided that they're capable of vertical jumping 24 inches on that particular day. But as soon as you surpass the athlete's vertical jumping capability, then suddenly, exponentially, the demand increases. So that's when you got to be careful. So people ask me all the time, do you do depth jumps with all your kids? Yes, but some of them aren't really doing depth jump. You know, so typically what I'll do is on the depth jump day, I got my boxes set up. I got the little ones, I got the medium ones, and I got the big ones. Okay, stud, get on the big ones. Okay, dud, get on the little ones. I'm trying to operate that way.